Beloved, welcome back to the shop. It's Monday morning and we've got wildland fires that are kicking off all over the place quite a bit early. Usually I don't make this video until next month, but we're going to move it up a little bit because of the need. So today we're going to be going over a complete tear down and go through all of our wildland fire stuff, from our hand tools to our fire pumps to our PPE, all that. Check everything out, make sure it's fueled, serviced, ready to go, so that at a minute's notice we can grab and go and have everything and know what we have and be effective if we need to put out a fire. Before we get into the firebox, I'll show you everything. This is a little fire skid unit. It's 85 gallons and it's got a dedicated fire suppression pump system with a full foam capability. So it's really a skookum choocher right there. Shout out to our brother in Christ, AVE. So this can be towed with a quad, it can be towed with the pickup, the tank can be taken off the trailer, it can be mounted in the back of a pickup. So super versatile, and that gives us the ability to draft from the creek and have something that we can grab and take water and deal with fires. Now, to support that, there's quite a bit of hoses and apparatus and different things that we use for structure protection, and that is going to be all in these boxes here. So we'll go through that as well. And then personal protective equipment, you're going to have my red bag with my yellows and greens, boots, and my fire pack right there. So this makes up basically all of my equipment, apart from a few stacks of hoses I have in the other shop. Let's start with the box. I do not believe we got into this box last year, but you never know. You know, you rob stuff when you're doing firewood and splitting and such. But here, I'm going to unload everything, and then we'll build it back up together when I'm putting it. This is a bespoke box for all these things. Everything kind of has a place, and then we'll discuss the items as we put them back in. Why a power saw is so important in wildland firefighting is because you're always dealing with trees. When a fire goes through an area, it weakens the trees, and they fall on everything. They fall across roads, they fall on people, they fall on cars. So it's a life safety issue. You don't want to get blocked off and burnt up because you can't get you and your crew out because a tree has fallen across the road. So having reliable saws with multiple backup options and parts is very critical. Also, in prevention of firefighting, you know, when you're clearing brush or trying to save a house or doing fire line, chainsaws are a key component to cutting all that. So they're really our priority, and it was the center of my box that I built basically around the power saw. My advice whenever you're going through kits like this, always be thinking, what can I get rid of? What do I don't need? What can I make to simplify my life? I don't use these SIGs, these extra fuel bottles. I have a Dalmar here that's got oil and gas. I've carried these things around. I just don't use them. I'm working out of a truck, so that will free up some space. These are spare parts. You know, we've covered all this before. Stump vise, replacement parts for the saw itself, bar nuts, plugs, you know, those wear items, carburetor adjuster, extra scrunch tool, earplugs, pull rope, and stump vise. You know, everything that a guy would need to do to fix a problem with the saw. 2 bars, I run a 32 lightweight for my primary, but I also have a 36. So if I damage a bar or it gets pinched, I don't lose my saw. Spare parts. In here, I have all my pre-sharpened chains. I like to file with either the Stihl sharpener, which is a really good tool. If you struggle with sharpening, this will solve all your problems. It's quite good, but I still like just the old school, so I keep both. But in here are all my pre-sharpened chains. Round file, not chisel for fire. Chisel holds the edge better. These are color coordinated with zip tie. Green is the 36, red is the 32, so I don't accidentally, you know, grab the wrong one and try to put it on to waste a bunch of time. Here are all of the hand tools. This makes up really the bulk of the box. You need a lot of tools because you have to solve a lot of problems. Bolt cutters. Bolt cutters are going to get you through gates. They're going to open fences. They're going to cut padlocks. Bolt cutters are really important. And fence pliers. If you want to go, if you don't want to carry bolt cutters around, and if you live in the country, you should have a pair of fence pliers. These will cut any barbed wire fence. They'll get through basically anything. They are an incredible tool. They got a spike on it that you can use for breaking glass, tempered glass. They've got a hammer. Amazing tools. So these two kind of go together. And then all of the hand tools. I keep a hatchet and a pounder. This will be worn on the belt on the back with a tourniquet and a chainsaw tool, whether I'm falling. Only if I'm working with the chainsaw, and felling timber will I wear this. I'm not going to wear that normally. A mill bastard file here for sharpening tools, 12-inch, a big one. And you just make your own sheath out of cardboard and tape. This is a pounder axe. This is a vintage axe that I put together. I like the short handle and a heavy weight. This is for pounding when you have to fall really big trees, pounding wedges. Of the main fire tools, I'm typically going to carry 2, sometimes 3. A fire shovel, which is my primary. A Rogue forest rake with a long handle, and then the Rogue long-handled, heavy-duty, like a 7-inch hoe. Those 3 are pretty good. Having multiple tools, you can put a tool in someone's hand that is a bystander or helping, because when something's burning, there's nothing you can do. Most people are not going to have suitable boots on, so they can't go out there and, what are they going to do? Stomp it out with their Crocs? That if you don't have gloves and hand tools with handles and the things you need, then you really can't do anything at all except for just stand there and look at it. So these things are really important. I also keep some flagging. Flagging can be useful for marking roads, trails, whether you come across a hazard, a bee's nest, a killer tree. Flagging is used all the time, so multiple colors, and as well as some signage. I found these to be very, very useful. That when you have, oftentimes if you live up in the urban interface like me, you see the fire first and you're the first one there. And I'll be up there scouting on my dirt bike. If I can take these and I can hang them up at intersections, then the guys coming in know where it's at. We also have a couple methods to start a fire. Fire can be a great tool for putting fire out. You can save yourself by burning out fuel ahead of you that will stop a fire in its tracks. You can remove fuel. There's lots of things you can do. So this is a traditional drip torch, which runs a mix of 75% diesel oil, 25% gasoline, and when you take the lid off and flip it up, you can pour it and light it and basically pour a little stream of fire. Also, we'll have Fuzees, which are like road flares, so you can strike these on their own caps here, and you can burn out and you can start fires with these as well. I've got a pretty good medical kit I put together for this sort of thing that contains a lot of blood sponge and burn gear for the type of injuries you're going to run into, as well as some bee sting stuff and just general comfort items. And then finally, we have some protective equipment that I'm not going to carry on my main pack. Chainsaw chaps, wire mesh goggles, and hard hats. But that's it. Not overstuffed, but everything a guy needs. Well, beloved, that is it. That is the entire contents of the U.S. Forest Service inspired cache box. I was going to go do the fire pump and all of the other things, but I think we'll make that its own video. I'll have time to do it justice because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts. So we'll stop it here. If you have any suggestions of things that I haven't considered for the box, please let me know in the comments. I always read those and I learn so much from you guys. Proho is very smart and he is in the chat, so I appreciate that. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers and we'll see you all on the next video.